Hey y'all, it's Matt Hillier at the Cadillac barn once again with my friend Oliver Peck.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, we're hanging out, we're having good times. That's usually what we do, is have good times.
I mean, this is the place to do it.
This is it, man.
Cadillac barn, bar.
Yeah.
Because it's a bar in a barn and it's Cadillac.
Yeah, right.
Y'all can't see, but there's a Cadillac right there.
There is a Cadillac right there. I bet you. Yeah, there it is. Look, see, Steve's giving.
Hey, Cadillac.
Giving the old shot.
Look at
right
that.
there. Needs a little.
Cadillac.
Needs a little work on the rust, I think, but it starts up. It'll go around the block.
Patina.
Yeah. Yeah, patina. Ah.
People
pay extra for that.
People pay big money for the red patina these days.
Yeah. Hey, all right. So we've talked a little bit here already, but I wanted to ask you this. I always wanted to pick your brain about it, and I don't think I ever have asked you about it in the many times when I'm getting tattooed, because I'm just trying to think about not getting tattooed, you know. But one thing I've always been interested in, and I've always respected about where you're coming from with everything, and I've always wanted to know what was the first actual business that you owned. It doesn't have to be like brick and mortar, but I'm just talking about like, because now you own multiple businesses. Like you sort of parlayed one thing into the next. Yeah. Whereas, you know, for guys, whether your art is tattooing or ours is music, you think about just the art of it, and then all of a sudden there's business opportunities, and you have to put that hat on. Like, when was the first time? Was it screen printing, or was it the shop? Or?
Well, I mean, I guess Elm Street Tattoo is the first real legitimate building, brick and mortar business. But, you know, certain people excel at certain things.
Right.
And I never really excelled at being an employee.
No.
You know what I mean? I was a great employee if it's something I really love. Like once I worked for Richard Stell.
Right.
But I was doing what I wanted to do. But just as far as like regular jobs, it's tough. Mm-hmm. You know, for a lot of people. So right out of high school, I had like a couple different, you know, business ventures where my goal was to like work for myself. Mm-hmm. You know, instead of working for somebody else. So I did sign painting, and I did lived in Fort Worth, and I painted some murals at some club bar type places, and then I, you know, just went all down the road, down by the stockyards in the downtown, and just went in there and said, hey, if you need anything painted on the windows, if you need any signs, or need a little sandwich board or whatever. And so that worked out for a little bit. And all these antique stores would be like, yeah, come in, write this on the window, or write, you know, more antiques upstairs on a hand with an arrow, a little hand pointing upstairs and stuff like that. Did a bunch of that. And that was pretty cool. You know, that's like summer job type stuff, like when I was still in high school. And then I also had a friend who was older than me and said, hey, when I was in high school, I did this, you know, like I mowed lawns, or I did this. Like, man, you can like paint the numbers on people's curbs.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that was a pretty good gig.
Yeah, I had a girlfriend who did that.
It's a pretty good gig.
Yeah.
You know, you go to Michael's, you buy the little number stencils, you buy a couple cans of spray paint, and you go door to door and be like, hey, $5.
That world's gotten more competitive too, though. You need to do, you know, college logos. You need to have.
Oh yeah. But I'm just talking about for investment. Yeah. The lowest investment. You got like this pack of stencils for like $2.
Sure.
And you got a couple cans of spray paint.
Yeah.
And you go down go door to door in whatever neighborhood, and you just say, hey, for $5 I'll put your numbers if they're faded. You know what I mean? I'll sharpen up your numbers, whatever. And surprisingly, a lot of people did it.
Sure.
And so then I was like, man, I need more people.
Oh, it's easy. Nobody ever thinks about it.
So then I got a couple kids to come with me, and we just hit the streets, you know, and like two of us would hit the side of the streets, and everybody that said yes, we'd write down a piece of paper, yes, on this address, and then we'd make the block and come back and and I mean, does that count? Is that a business?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be brick and mortar.
Yeah,
just like,
I mean, so that was kind of the first time I realized that you could go out and just find something that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Figure out how to do it. Make yourself available to the people that might need that service, and do it and make money.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you don't always have to just go to TGI Fridays and wait tables or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, you know, to each his own for sure. But
We
that
we
got
just
my
made friends with the people at TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
And then they'd give us free appetizers.
But that was my first little dip into like just you can make things happen.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's like I'm gonna do something. Now was my goal to just paint numbers on the curb
Right.
all my life? No, but I knew that I could work for myself. I knew I could find something.
Yeah.
I knew I could create a business or a job, and it was from then on it was always looking at what I could do.
So when did you and Dean see the window when cyber graphics was going one way to, and that was between the two of you, were you guys equal partners in that?
Well, quick rundown. I was working at Paradise.
Yeah.
That timeline came to an end.
Mm-hmm.
I had a really good job opportunity to go work at a shop in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
At a really busy shop at the time, probably the busiest shop there was, and really make a lot of money and really work with people that I could further learn from, whatever. So I went there. Houston was not for me.
Right.
So I was like, man, I never, I was planning on moving to Houston, but I still had a house. I was down there working. I was coming back and forth in this like transition period. Very quickly, I realized that I did not want to live in Houston.
Right.
So I started just saying, I'm just going to work here until I can figure out what I'm doing. So I was coming back, kept my house in Dallas, and started looking at options. Right a few months after I had left Paradise, Cybergraphics Tattoo Shop was owned by a guy, then Dean Williams worked there, and blah, blah, blah. That shop was going down. There was, it was getting closed.
Mm-hmm.
Rent was not getting paid. Electricity was shut off. And so me and another guy who also worked at Paradise, who also left Paradise, me and Pat Jones,
Mm-hmm.
were like, man, we should, and we were living together
Mm-hmm.
at the time, over off of Webb Chapel.
Yeah. Close in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went and talked to Dean. It's like, hey, what's the story? He's like, man, we're getting kicked out. We're getting evicted. We're like, well, what can we do? We just made a quick plan to take it over, change the name, get the lease in our name. Adrian Evans also came in on the part of that. And then another guy that was friends at Dean's that worked at Cybergraphics. The rest of the people who worked at Cybergraphics all left. And the five of us remodeled the shop, changed the name to Elm Street Tattoo, and opened it up as 5 partners.
Mm-hmm.
And then very quickly, one partner left, next partner left, next partner left. Being on drugs is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, long story short, it's been just me and Dean for many, many years.
Yeah.
That business, like we did some things, I think we did some really smart things just in Elm Street Tattoo
Right.
that were different from the other shops that were in the neighborhood. We opened it up, we made it a street style shop. We made it a shop that was like what tattoo shops are really supposed to be, or were like in the older
Right.
days, like Eric Moskey's type shop and Dave Gibson shop.
Well, it's
And
fun
we
to
made
hang
a
out.
friendly environment.
It's fun to hang out.
We made it definitely more friendly, more open, more clear, and had a specific style. Other tattoo shops in Dallas before were just like, everybody just kind of just did whatever, and it's just
Right.
like, there's always like you go in the front and it's dark, and you have to go down this hallway to the back, and you don't know what's going on back there, and it looks sketchy.
Yeah.
Our shop was open and clean and had white walls and was like nice clean floor.
Yeah.
So I mean, it made it a friendly place to hang out, which it was not before that.
Right.
And we just,
All right. So there's 2 more questions that I want to ask you on this line of, being an entrepreneur, a businessman. It's funny to think of that now, like the history that's gone, but like that's what you are, and so when that happens, and then I remember you being on the road quite a bit, like being on the road and whether it was the Warped Tour or going to California or going wherever it was to learn from new artists or hang with in different shops or whatever it was always seemed like part of your deal. And then trying to think of like how to manage a shop at home with everything that you're doing, like that's got to be a challenge.
it was definitely tricky, but as soon as I started traveling, like after I tattooed for a few years, I met some artists that were coming through. Artists would come through town and work at either our shop. Once we opened Elm Street, people came through and worked at our shop, and same that they did at Paradise. And they would like somebody from St. Louis come over and say, "Hey man, you can come to my shop anytime." Somebody would come from California and say, "You should come out to my shop." And so I was like, "Oh yeah." And so then once I took that first offer and went and worked at a different shop, it's like you come home with like new ambition.
Yeah.
You just saw a whole new world. Every shop is different, every artist different, the way people do things. And it just really, it just grabbed a hold of me.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you got to get out there and learn what there is to learn. You got to get out there and broaden your horizons. You got to soak it up. Life is short. You need to get it.
Right.
And from that point on, and even now, I travel. I'm tattooing somewhere in some other city, state, or country every single month.
Right.
And I have been for 25 years.
Yeah.
And it's just nonstop. And then people are like, "Don't you get tired of traveling?" I was like, "Man, no."
Yeah.
I love coming home, but I love going other places. I've pretty much been like a 50-50. Like people ask me how often I'm in doubt and into my shop, I'm like about 50%. I'm gone at, somewhere between 1 and 3 weeks a month.
Yeah.
Almost every single month.
Yeah. Well, I have kids. I can't get out like I used to. No, but hey, here's another thing that I wanted to ask you about. And you touched on it just a second ago, and I've always wondered because it's amazing to me that you're one of the guys that I know that parties the most, and you don't party you're the last
party.
Well, you party but I'm just saying you've been sober for a long time, and I've always been curious it's probably no big secret, but how much you feel sobriety has played a part in your success of doing everything you have to do.
Well, for me, I got sober in 90, late 91.
Yeah.
I was 21 years old.
Which is around about the time probably we met.
Yeah. Before that, I did a lot of drugs, drank a lot, but from 18 to 21 was my experience with drinking and drugs.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things, as soon as I tried drugs, I was in. The first time I did LSD, I was like, this is what my life is supposed to be. I had found the secret, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I took LSD every day for 8 months, you know what I mean? And then I just spun out of control and had a lot of trouble with the law, a lot of, this and that. And I was drinking heavily and, just when you're in that, you don't realize how out of control you are. Luckily for me, I got in just enough trouble to put me in jail just long enough for me to totally sober up, and also long enough for me to realize that I don't want to go to jail anymore.
Right.
But not so long that it made, I didn't go to jail for 10 years where it ruined my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I knew that I was on the verge of being in jail for a long time.
Right.
It was just a perfect amount of jail. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I was in jail with kids that were 20 years old, and they were talking on the game about when I get out of jail, me and my homies are gonna do this, we're gonna run this, we're gonna do that. And I'm like, man, when I get out of jail, I'm gonna get a job. Cause I wanna buy a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I wanna ride around, and I wanna hang out, and I wanna when I wanna eat pizza, I wanna eat pizza. I don't wanna be in jail where who knows, you don't get to choose anything.
Yeah.
Taking my freedom away really was what I needed.
Sure.
No other kind of so then I got out of jail and I was on a mission. I was just and for some reason, I've seen a lot of people struggle with drinking and drugs and smoking and this and that. It's so hard for them to stop. But for me, it was just, there wasn't an option.
Sure.
I quickly found a way to still have fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that, you know, once you quit drinking, you shouldn't hang out with your friends that drink. You shouldn't go to the bar. You shouldn't tempt yourself. You shouldn't do that. And I'm just like, you know, I steered away from it for a little while. But now, I mean, I hang out at the bars.
Sure.
I drink ginger beer or lemonade or
Right.
root beer or whatever, or energy drinks or, you know, iced coffees or whatever,
Yeah.
and stay up all night and act all stupid.
Yeah.
And really, the trick is learning how to act stupid on purpose instead
Right.
of just getting drunk and actually being stupid.
Right.
Because most people like are shy or nervous and don't want to act stupid and have fun, so they get drunk and act stupid and have fun. Me, I'm just like, people think I'm drunk, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm acting like it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you're one of the guys that took, you know, you shut every place down, and it doesn't. None
And
of
act
that-
silly and
none of
jump
that-
around.
It's fun,
and-
right? Yeah. Anyways, I appreciate it. I have the utmost respect for you as like somebody who hit the ground running and has created all these businesses for yourself, because now you opened a new sandwich shop and
Tacos and coffee.
tacos and coffee. That's what it is.
Well,
it's brand new,
Yeah.
right?
The two big things is being sober.
Uh-huh.
I can still hang out and party late at night, but I still get up early in the morning and do what I need to do.
Right.
The other thing is I mean, I like to work anyway, so I'm always doing something. Got to stay busy. You know, I don't sit around and just do nothing hardly ever. But the other thing is that just staying focused on something without, you know, I feel like if you get drunk or smoke weed or do drugs or whatever, it takes you away from this idea of where you're going. And I am like, either I want this new motorcycle, or I want to fix up this old motorcycle, or I want to take this trip, or I want to like learn, get better at this business, or I want to do whatever. So it's like just a drive that if I was doing what I was doing before drinking, that would takes up a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I don't know. It's just I still have parties in my house and still have provide people, and like I don't try to convince people not to drink, but if somebody is having a problem or it's causing a problem and they want to help and they want to hang out with me, I was like, hey, hang out with me, not at the bar. Let's do some.
Right.
Let's go to the skate park. Let's ride motorcycles. Let's build this fence that I'm building, or I'll help you. You know, it's just whatever it is.
No, that's
But-
cool, man, and it's an inspiration, man. It's cool because I just you know.
If I could just have a couple drinks at night and hang out and just get a little buzz and feel good, and then go to bed and wake up and do my thing in the morning, I probably would. But I know that I can't do that.
Right.
Not everybody's different.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
my girlfriend, she drinks a little bit, every once in a while. I mean, not even every weekend, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't get wasted. She doesn't fall down. She doesn't throw up. She doesn't act stupid. She has fun. She enjoys drinking wine with dinner. Blah blah blah. No problem. Me, anything I do, balls to the wall.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to realize, like, all my family has a problem with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
It's in my genes. I need to quit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not, and I had to feel like it's a sacrifice, because it is fun, but it's not worth it.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, that's inspiring. That's
Yeah.
good. I mean it, man. I'm not trying to pull your chain or anything. It is. Oliver Peck, Cadillac Barn. Like, subscribe, watch everything. We're having a good time. Don't drink to that, buddy.
Oh yeah.